And now for an amazing story. Inspired by the book of 1 Timothy. Chapter 4.
Timothy had lived a long and full life. He'd traveled the world. He'd met and worked with amazing people. He'd helped spread the good news about Jesus. And, well, he'd always put other interests before his own. He'd even been thrown in jail for his beliefs. Now, as an old man looking back at his life, Timothy could see where God had used him to make a difference.
I think I've earned a bit of rest.
Timothy sat back in his chair, closed his eyes, and welcomed the peace and quiet of early dawn.
Who could that be at this hour?
Timothy, sir, are you in there?
I'm here. Come in, Homer.
Homer was a new believer who had just joined the church community. He was a nervous young man, full of energy and eager to serve. He kind of reminded Timothy a little of himself at that age. I hope this isn't a bad time, said Homer as he closed the door behind him.
Not at all. Can I get you anything? Water or grape juice?
Water's fine. Timothy started to rise, but was stopped by the enthusiastic young man. No, don't get up. I'll get it. Then he picked up a half-full pitcher of water and started to fill both cups.
Oh, none for me, thanks.
What's that? Homer looked at Timothy, distracted, and began to pour water out on the floor and the table. Oh no, I've made a mess. I'm so sorry.
It's fine. Don't worry about it.
No, I'll clean it up. Homer reached for the nearest cloth and began mopping up water from the floor and table.
Homer,
Yes, sir?
that's my robe, not a towel.
He looked down, saw the robe drenched with water, and his face reddened. Oh man, I'm not good for anything today. I'd better go. Homer aimed for the door, realizing he still had the robe in his hands.
My robe?
Oh, sorry. Here. Sorry, he said, putting the robe down on the table.
Homer,
What? Yes, sir? What?
why don't you have a seat and tell me what's on your mind?
Oh, okay, sure. You sure it's okay? I don't want to be a nuisance.
I'm sure.
Timothy pulled his chair closer to the table and gestured for Homer to sit in the chair next to him. Homer sat.
Now, something's troubling you. What is it?
Okay, so you know how I'm new to this whole church thing, right?
I did know that.
So I admit there's a lot I don't know, okay? But still, I want to do my part, I want to be of service.
And we appreciate it.
Okay, you might appreciate it, but the other elders, I don't know. Whenever I'm around them, it's like they act like they don't want me there. I say, do you want me to lead hymns at the meeting? And they say, no, someone is doing it. Or I try to help set up chairs, but the rows are never straight enough. I feel like they're even looking at me funny when I pray because I don't know, maybe I don't do it right. And I don't know if it's because I'm new or if it's because they don't like me for some reason or if it's because I'm clumsy or I talk too much, but...
Homer,
Yes, sir?
slow down.
Sorry.
I think I have something that can help you. You do?
Timothy crossed to the bookcase filled with all manner of papers and old scrolls, and he began rummaging through them all until he found the precise one he was looking for.
Here we are.
Timothy crossed back to the table and began to unroll the well-worn scroll.
This is a letter I received from the Apostle Paul many years ago.
The Apostle Paul. The Apostle Paul?
He was like a father to me. I've kept his letters for all these years. I like to read them sometimes for encouragement. Perhaps this one will be an encouragement to you as well. Now,
Timothy squinted at the decades-old writing, but his tired eyes were having trouble making it out.
Read that for me. Oh, okay. Don't let anyone look down on you because you are young. Set an example for the believers in what you say and in how you live. Also, set an example in how you love and in what you believe. Show the believers how to be pure. That's good. Paul wrote this to me when I was just starting out as a leader with the church in Ephesus. I was young, maybe as young as you are now. And I had the same worries as you're having. What part did I have to play? Would the others accept me? Would I ever be able to make a difference? Right! So I did what Paul suggested in this letter. I tried my best to live the way God would want and to love the way Jesus loved. People notice those kinds of things. Then they forget about the fact that you're the new kid.
Homer sat still for a moment while Timothy slowly rolled up the old letter from the Apostle Paul.
So you think I'll be able to make a difference someday? Homer, I believe you're already making a difference.
Thanks. Homer stayed a while longer, and they talked about all the adventures Timothy had had as a young man on the road with Paul and how God had used him in his service. And they each had a cup of grape juice, but this time, Timothy poured.